Yeah, just having slight technical issues. I'm gonna fix that.
Hello, and welcome back to the Guerilla Cricket SA studio. We are running Guerilla Cricket SA from home right now, as we're trying to get the guys be safe and to get through this COVID. So if you're at home, please do stay safe. My name is Mpomkrane, and I've got Coach Dave with me to take us through the next session. South Africa won the toss and put Sri Lanka into bat first. Sri Lanka currently in the session at 102 for 3. Interesting session as we're trying to figure through some technical issues with Dave here. We'll just put him back out. It's an interesting session, I think, if you are considering it, because we've got Otto coming back in. We're just going to sort out some of the audio issues as well.
I'm just here as a backup.
Yes, yeah, that's cool. We're just waiting for Dave. We've got Dave now. Dave, Sri Lanka 102 for 3. Over rate's 12.3. The run rate was 4.08. What did you make of that first session? Dave, I think your mic is muted. So let's just trying to put Dave to the back and get him to sort it out. Yes, just a lot of gremlins now into the system, and I'll also try to just make sure that we are running well on Safari, as we are perfectly on. So you can hear us on One World Sports Radio. Remember, do follow us as we go through. Otto, if you can bring on your visuals and join me for this session, please do. And here he is. First ball of the session has been bowled. It's gone through. It's taken up by Anuf Nokia as we run through that. Otto, what did you make of the first session?
I think the Sri Lankans' ODI-style batting mitigating the loose deliveries that they were offered by the South African bowlers, costing them 3 wickets. I think if it weren't for the 3 wickets, South Africa would have been blushing.
I'm going to interrupt you there. Second ball went through past the bat. Nice little shape from Anuf Nokia to his wicket keeper there as we're going through this test match. It's still 102 for 3. Dinesh Chandimal on 13 off 48 balls, and Dhananjaya De Silva 32 off 42. We're going to try get Dave on, and Otto, thank you very much. Dave, are you good now?
Yeah, all back, all good here.
Okay, Otto, thank you very much. Next ball hits the under edge past the diving fielder at Gully, and it goes through for 4. The score now goes up to 106 for 3. That was off the bat of Dinesh Chandimal, and it takes them to a 50-run partnership. We've got Ravi Nair all the way from India as well. Ravi, how are you doing? How was your lunch? Were you well? I don't know if it was lunch. I think it's dinner that side. So
don't worry about that, Abo. With COVID, we've just gone completely. It doesn't matter.
Next ball. Okay. Next ball in just outside the off stump. Dinesh Chandimal playing a little bit more circumspect to that one, letting it go through as well. Anuf Nokia still putting it up to the 147-kilometer mark, 90 miles per hour. He is the fastest bowler in the world, and I don't think there's only a few that can get up there in world cricket. The runs were a problem for South Africa.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I think Henrik Nokia is both an underrated and an overrated bowler. He's overrated because he has the speed. He's underrated because actually not too many people know about him yet.
That's true. That's true. In the next ball, going past the edge, similar to the one previously, he's getting nice shape off the pitch. It's seeming nicely away from the right-hander. So yeah, I think. But there is the IPL gives everyone a little bit of a view of what type of a bowler is. Obviously, in the red ball format, the lengths will be slightly fuller than what they are in the IPL, but you can get it. It's just sometimes, Ravi, if you're bowling at 150, batsmen really struggle.
Oh, absolutely. He makes them struggle. I can't. I think he's to that extent an underrated bowler. But in the South African context, is he underrated or overrated? Is he being pushed too much, or is he not being pushed enough?
I think he's in his moment. We've got the end of the over. Now we're moving to the next over. Lungi Ngidi is coming in there. Dave, what are your thoughts on Heinrich Nokia? That last ball was a dot ball.
I think the thing is with Heinrich Nokia is he's still very, like Ravi said, he's very unknown within the international community, and obviously the IPL would have accelerated his time in the spotlight. But I think it's too soon to say whether he is overrated. I mean, with guys like KG and Lungi that have been around the South African setup for a long time, I think he's quietly going about his job.
First ball in of Lungi is over, and it is a beautiful pitch on the line, swinging just in time away from the right-handed batsman, drawing them in, and a very good way to start your over post lunch.
And I definitely think that if we're looking at a guy like Heinrich Nokia, this is an opportunity for him to with Lungi Ngidi stand up and say, I deserve more than what I'm currently getting.
And Ngidi's bowling incredibly well. Next ball, just beating the bat again. This one holding its line. First one tailed away. This one just held its line. Quinton is very impressed there behind the stumps. I think with this bowling attack, adding Kagiso into it makes it the bowling attack we've always wanted. Just as strong and probably one of the best in the world. I think you mentioned that, Ravi, earlier on. It's just that you'd want Nokia to be that wicket-taking option in the first change.
It is the best seam bowling attack in the world. There's no question about it. I'm saying this as an England fan. When you have all the guys available to you, Rabada, Nokia, Ngidi, even Sipamla, you have a bowling attack that is ridiculously good. Okay, even Australia can't quite match that, and England takes its. England and India take the fact that they have vulnerabilities. They have 2 or 3 best at most. You've got guys coming up time after time. So let's do the cricket. Sorry. But
next ball in Lungi's over is played out to the offside. Temba Bavuma, the fielder, no run. Ravi, the stage is yours.
Yeah, so it's not about that. For me, what's fascinating about South Africa is that you're trying to do this all with the with regard for transformation, which I love, and it's not easy, and what you guys, each of you are passionate about something or something else, but you're still doing it, and I love that. That's what I love about South African cricket.
Next ball in, another beautiful one, just a little bit of extra bounce and tailing away from the right-handed batsman there. Just Lungi is just giving us a lovely set of balls here. Dave?
I definitely
Yeah.
think that. Sorry, just stepping in here with Ngidi's plan. He's seen Danajai de Silva go across his stumps, and he's going to bowl a couple of away ones, and hopefully he gets the one that nips back and traps him on the pads. You see, he starts on a leg stump line and moves across for his trigger. So I think this is the start of a Lungi setup.
Yes, it is. We've seen lots of outswingers. Ravi, will get back to you just after this final ball of Lungi's over. He's just running in. This one's probably going to be tailing in. And it is the one that tails in but doesn't get the edge. Great over from Lungi. It's a maiden over, 106 for 3. Ravi, I love the fact that you're saying that we're trying to do this with transformation in mind.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm coughing.
That's
yeah,
okay.
Okay. Yeah. See, the thing is that you are working against a set of what would be called handicaps. South Africa is. You've got talent, but unfortunately, the talent that is noticed happens to be white talent. And the black talent doesn't get noticed as much. And that is part of the history and the culture, at least from the cricket point of view. I can't talk about the rest of it. So when you get guys like Ndidi, Kagiso Rabada, Temba Bavuma, you cherish them extra because they represent black talent coming through.
Yes. First, let me just jump in there, Ravi. First ball of Nokia's over, just beating the bat, no run there. We're just waiting for the second ball. Yeah, and I agree with you. We do need to nurture as Nokia comes in for a second ball there. This one's driven down the ground. Lovely on drive by Dinesh Chandimal. Or Nokia straying down the leg side a little bit there, Dave.
Yeah, I think he's just got to find his length here in the post-lunch session, and once he get into it, I think he'll be fine.
Ravi, yes.
Yeah? No, after you. Okay, so the thing about South Africa is you have talent, but you don't know how to deal with it. No, that's the wrong way to put it. But you're not dealing with it well.
Nokia coming in for the third ball of that over. This one just outside the off stump, left alone. This one was slightly wider, and Dinesh doesn't want to pad it. I agree with you, Ravi. We've got the talent, and it's just trying to make it to actually nurture it as best. And I do think you might have two streams. You might need to have two streams of talent pools where you nurture the white players as well, who you identify as the best of the best. And you nurture them well, but also giving the black and players of color an opportunity to be able to get to those levels by giving them interventions.
Also imagine if the white players had all the roadblocks in their way that the black players did. Would they even get there?
That's something that we need to consider as well. Dave, I know, has a point, and he's clapping right now. Next ball's a short ball. And Dinesh Chandimal ducks underneath it there. Dave, what do you say to Ravi's comment?
He's hit the nail on the head completely with that last statement. I think people are so unaware of the challenges that black cricketers face in their journey to the top, and I think it's more than just ability to go to a good school, the ability to perform at a high level and get support.
I'm going to interrupt you there, Dave. Next ball in. This one dying out there. Hint of uneven bounce. This one just outside you would call it a six-stump line, and the ball just died. Dinesh Chandimal wafted that one, but he didn't get anything on it. Sri Lankan batsmen, any of the batsmen, because South Africans haven't batted, need to watch out for that one. Yes, last ball of the over, and it's outside your stump. No run there. I'll go to Ravi first.
First of all, I wanted to mention that though Nokia has been astonishingly good, head and shoulders above all the bowlers, he's still gone for effectively about 30 runs in the 6 overs, 5 runs and over. That's what I meant when I originally said they're playing this like an ODI. They've forgotten how to play Test cricket, both the Sri Lankans and the South Africans. They literally are. And we get this 28.1 overs, 110 for 3 or whatever. 28.1 overs is irrelevant, not for a test match. You know,
And
I don't need to know how many overs.
And as I jump in there, Ravi, Lungingiti bowled the first ball of it to the 29th over outside the off stump. Dave, what do you think should happen, I think, from a South African cricketing perspective in terms of nurturing the talent that we have, especially the players of Kala Maharaj, Rabada Ngidi, Clinton Steelman, who's in Sipamla? How do we make sure that they are at a world-class standard, or even the guys below them in franchise cricket?
So I think we spoke about it one of the days in our WhatsApp group, but the key
and
is
Lungin
backing
Gidi
players.
just hold on, Dave. Lungingiti is just a dot ball then, no run.
So backing players of color, and I don't mean just selecting them and saying, okay, cool, you're going to bat at 4 or you're going to open the bowling or whatever it may be. Backing them at every single turn in front of the media, in selection meetings, and not just giving it lip service, but actually standing by what you say. I mean, if we look at not really a relevant example, but somewhat relevant, is Steve Smith. And how he's failed since 2019. If he was Temba Bavuma.
And next ball is played out by Lungingiti. Bowled by Lungingiti, played out by Dhananjaya De Silva to the covers for a 2 there. Vian Mulder, the fielder, score goes to 112 for 3. De Silva up to 34, Dave.
If he
may I interrupt?
Sure.
I think Mpho was just completely struck by Ngidi's arse. It is so wonderful. Him as a fast bowler. Next ball, sorry. But yes, he is a magnificent looking man.
Ngidi in again. This one's full and straighter this time. Driven back past the bowler for 4 runs. Incredible shot by Dhananjaya De Silva.
Absolutely. So I think backing players unequivocally, undeniably, unreservedly in all aspects of public and private meetings. And I think the best person to look at how to do that, and as a Lions fan, it pains me to say this, but Ashwell Prince and a guy like Keegan Peterson, who has been terribly underrated by the cricketing public, but has now been able to put his hand up and score runs continuously at domestic level, because a guy like Ashley P says, listen, guys, this kid is for me. I'm going to back him out. And he does it with Kyle Verreynne, but I think it's important that players feel valued and they feel backed, and they just have to go out there and play cricket. If they play cricket
Dave, next ball in. Ngidi, it's a bumper, and Ngidi and De Silva played that out to the leg side. A little bit of a lack of control there, but it's a dot ball.
And I think that players who feel like they don't have to worry about anything but scoring runs and taking wickets perform a lot better. That's just my 2 cents.
But then I'm going to ask you this question at the end. Last ball of the over. This rising ball outside the off stump. Just a lot of oohs and ahs behind in the slip quarter. Nothing to play at that. It was let go. Fine. It was let past by De Silva for no run. Question for you, Dave. Because you're in the you're in and around the line setup. Obviously, backing players of color. How long do you back? Because some players will say, no, but I'm the only player of color in the team and they need me. So even if I fail, it's fine because I'll get an opportunity. Whereas for a white player, they always need to perform in order for them to play. How do you balance that?
Dave, you first.
Well, you're doing that player of color a disservice by keeping him in the team when he's not performing. I think, you give guys a set number of games, and you say to him before the season, you're going to play 2, 3, 4 series, or we're going to give you a season, or we're going to give you 2 seasons, and that'll be it for you. We reevaluate after that time. If you have a horrible patch, we're going to back you as best as we can until we feel like, in the season.
Nokia pulled into Chandimal, who played it onto mid-off, and there was no run. Keep going.
So I think you'll have short and medium term goals in that season that you say, okay, look, if you get to this point or that point, we're no longer going to be able to pick you. But keeping a player of color in just for the sake of, he's the only one or the only one of 3 or 4, you're doing him a disservice, because then he knows he's there just to fill numbers and not because he's good enough to make the team. I think that's a difficult balance that they have.
Sri Lanka are currently 116 for 3, Nokia in, and this one just swinging away, no run there. Ravi, what do you think?
I think the problem is that if you say it as a black player versus a white player, say even Temba Bavuma versus Paf du Plessis, you realize that your reactions are going to be different. Oops, that was bouncer.
Yes, next ball in from Nokia. He's running in right now. Interesting to see if he's going to go short. He's bowled a lot outside the off stump. This one's short, and it's a bouncer, and it's going to go over Quinton de Kock's head for 5 buys. There, that'll be 5 runs added to the total. Ravi, what were you saying?
So, for instance, in this match itself, Chandimal was the batsman who faced that delivery. But even you did not mention his name.
Yes, I didn't.
You didn't. And that's because you're South African. Fair enough. And
a short ball in from Nokia, played out to the leg side, caught the glove of Dinesh Chandimal. They run through for a single. It's going to be a little bit painful single there for the Sri Lankan.
My point is only that we all, unfortunately, take on board our own people. Even for you, Mpo. It's not just black South Africans, it's South Africans in general. That's why you take on board the South African side. You don't see it from the Sri Lankan side.
Yes, but right now, I think yes, that's very true. And Sri Lanka 122 for 3. Next ball from Anup Nokia, spearing into the legs there of De Silva, who plays that out to the leg side for another single. And that takes their score to 123 for 3. I think they'll be very happy with the score as is right now. If we're looking at their side, obviously the wickets are 3 down, but it looks like this partnership of over 50 is something that they require. Anup Chesh getting ready to bowl his last ball of the 30th over. There's 3 slips and a gully. This one is full. It's an appeal there for LBW, but umpire Holstock says not out. Looks like it was going down leg. I'm not sure if the South Africans will take the DRS. It's down. The timer's going. Doesn't look like Quinton is interested.
I don't know. Maybe they have.
No, they did not take it.
A difficult one because, you'd normally go to your wicketkeeper for a second opinion. What do you do now?
You have to be your own second opinion, right?
Absolutely.
So this partnership right now, 69 runs off 118 balls, 10 fours, there's no sixes, a strike rate of 58. Chandimal contributing 22 of the 69, and De Silva 39. The South Africans will want to break the back of this partnership quite quickly, as it could be one that comes back to hurt them in the long run.
Oh, absolutely, it could be, but 123 for 3 is not a great score. If I were in general looking at it, I'd say South Africa were on the up. And
Yes,
Sri
first
Lanka,
ball of Nokia's over in this new spell after lunch, played out to the offside, no run there. It's actually Ngidi who bowled that first ball.
He's mesmerized again, Ravi. He's just mesmerized by Ngidi. Mixing up Nokia and Ngidi.
So many things happening this side. Ngidi in again, played out to the leg side by De Silva. A single is taken. Keshav Maharaj is the fielder at backward square leg, 124 for 3.
The fact is that once you've seen Lungi Ngidi's ass, you can't look at anything else, can you?
I suppose we should be grateful he's not a wicketkeeper.
No, well, the funny thing is, at least you don't see wicket keepers from the backside, but you constantly see bloody Lungi Ngidi's backside, and you just have to admire it.
Lungi's done a lot of work in for his third ball of this over. Swing and a miss outside the off stump. He's asking himself, how did he not get an edge there? Really good ball from the South African pacer, who's having to take the role of leading this bowling attack, with him having only 9 tests under his belt here. The South African bowling attack only having 12 in total, including the debutant, that is Lutusa Pamla.
I don't know if we've gone to Twitter, and this was 55 minutes ago, so it was before lunch, but just about. Paul Coffey says, really appreciate listening to cricket on another continent. World's best commentary. Thanks, Guerilla SA and the internet.
Ngidi in again. This one's driven out into the covers. There's only one fielder in the covers, and that is Vian Mulder, who holds this one in. They will come through for 2, that is, but they are checking. They will have to check whether he has crossed the boundary line. So it's actually 3 runs taken off of there. 127 for 3. And it looks like Vian Mulder has not touched the line. So very good piece of fielding there.
Yeah. Very good piece of fielding.
Yes, please do tweet in to us at Guerilla SA, GUERILLASA on Twitter. We'd like to read out your tweets. You can also send in your comments on Facebook if you're watching us live, and also on YouTube. This is our first foray into YouTube, so please do subscribe. Ngidi in again, short ball, this time over correction and pulled straight to the fielder at square leg. That's Keshav Maharaj for a single. He had a little bit of a fumble there, but nothing to be worried about.
What do you think is the plan post lunch? What do you think the Sri Lankans are looking to do here in a post lunch session?
Leave as many balls, wait for the bad ball, and try and rotate strike from playing a less riskier form of cricket to the one they played before lunch.
Do you think they even want to rotate strike? Or I'm just going to say, we've got more than 100 runs before lunch. That's ridiculous. So let's just take it easy from now on. Why rotate strike? It's a test match. We don't need to rotate strike. You know?
Yeah. That is. I think that is a fair comment there. And they've got 128 on the board, 31 overs in. They really don't need to take as many risks as possible.
Yeah, they should. If they could keep this stand going for the rest of the day, they'd be laughing.
Nokia starting, getting ready to start his the 32nd over. The scorecard for Sri Lanka reads: Karunaratne 22, Pereira 16, Kusal Mendes 12, Dinesh Chandimal not out on 25, and Dhananjaya De Silva not out on 41.
Test championship, is it something that should continue? I know we're saying this as South Africans at the
After this
bottom of the
ball,
log.
Dave, after this ball, this one played down the leg side. I don't know. Kia just goes up for everything that hits the pad. It looks like it will be leg buys there, but it was no, it's not actually. Umpire Holstock saying that actually that came off the bat. Oh no, he then now is playing games with me, telling us all that it was a leg buy. The DRS. The DRS timer, because he walked and he was shaping as though he was gonna call the leg by, but I think he was waiting for play to be dead before he called it there. 129 for 3. Just wait before this ball. Nokia quickly into his second ball of the 32nd over. Outside, back of a length, played out into the offside off the back foot by Chandimal for another single. Score goes up to 130.
Dave, how do you feel when guys like Paul has not actually said it, but I'm saying it, blame you for being rude? If you know what I mean, in that the privilege you've had or have is so huge. How do you cope with that?
After this ball, Dave Fuller ball on the off stump line, played out to point for no run.
I think the biggest way in which white South Africans can truly understand it, because I think a lot of my generation didn't really experience the direct benefits of it. It's difficult to correlate direct benefit with what current privilege we do have. So a lot of the kind of older in my generation don't really grasp that. But I think the biggest thing that needs to be
Dave, I'm going to have to interrupt you there. Anuth Nokia just bowled a filthy ball that was played back behind the bowler down. Straight drive, a 4-4. Not the best ball. Ravi, they're not going to slow down the scoring here. The Sri Lanka just climbing onto anything that's bad.
Good for them. Good for them, but dangerous as well.
Yes, Dave, you can.
I want to hear you. I want to hear from you when between balls.
Okay, let's do it between overs. Let's let Dave collect his thoughts while we wait for Anu to complete this over. Taking an age to bowl the 5th ball of this over. This one is a shortish ball. He's a little bit angry, so he bowls a short ball to the Sri Lankan batsman, and it is a single. They're great control from De Silva to get it out to deep square leg for a run. That's 135 for 3.
Do you think Nokia is also angry about having to bowl so much so early? He's bowled nearly a quarter of the overs of this inning so far.
So
he asked to, I don't know.
Final ball of the over, Nokia in. It is a fuller one. It hits him in front, middle, and off. Umpire Holstock says not out to the South Africans' appeal. Quinton quickly says we're reviewing this, so let's see how that's going to go. What do you guys think?
Oh, I don't know.
Hit him on the back foot there.
Yes. Oh dear, that's done. He's done. Surely.
Yes. So we're looking at ultra edge. There is no ultra edge. It's hitting him on the back leg. The only thing that would be different that could
leg
him is height.
It's hitting top of leg stump. Surely.
Oh, that's dead.
Let's look at that. Red, and red. Umpires call orange. So the review is retained.
Shit.
And De Silva stays there, surviving.
How?
Okay.
So much for home umpires.
My problem with this is umpires call does not mean that the umpire should call it as he originally called it. Why should he not just go, okay, that looks out? Why should he not
Dave,
say, okay?
Yeah, stone dead. Umpire Holstock. I would say the call is in his favor to give him the benefit of the doubt, the umpire the benefit of the doubt there. But Dave, as you were saying, to Ravi's
yes.
question.
Yeah, I think recognizing that privilege is a massive step, because I think just being ignorant or putting your head in the sand about it is not actually how you're going to address it. I think for me, the important thing is to point it out to other white people, because a lot of the time they don't want to know it, or they don't know it at all. So I think that's a massive thing for me is education among fellow white people. Another way is for me to give back through that privilege. So if I can give players of color back what I had, or even if it is in some part, I think that's a massive way to assist them in a way that I did. So if I'm able to give, I definitely should give, and even if it's not necessarily monetary, but rather time and skill.
Okay, Dave, I will have to come back to you after this. This one was played out to the leg side by De Silva. A single in 2 runs actually were taken by the Sri Lankan batsmen, beg your pardon, and the score now 137 for 2 with Ngidi bowling that second over. This one played out to the offside, no run. Dave, the stage is still yours.
Yeah, so just to wrap up, I think the importance is education, having discussions, and not being afraid to speak frankly about it, and giving what you have to those who do not have.
Yes, and I think for me the whole education point is important, because we obviously see the world differently, and it's just trying to make sure that people get to understand, especially white people, to understand that there were roadblocks, and the roadblocks, some of them are still there, and to a certain extent,
exactly. That's my only point.
Leg byes played here by off of the bowling of Lungi Ngidi, and the Sri Lankan score goes to 138. It was played out to the leg side.
These Sri Lankans are scoring madly. I don't believe it. They're scoring great. This is ridiculous. Let's be honest. They are playing like they're in an ODI. But Lungi Ngidi's arse. That is so beautiful.
So Pirate Batshaw, after this ball, Ngidi plays it out to bowls it to Chandimal, who plays it out to the offside. Timber, the fielder, no run there. Pirate Batshaw on Twitter says, I agree with Ravi. Break out the scotums, Latin plural, and form a testudo. Not too sure what he's referring to there, Ravi, maybe.
I'm sure a testudo is the so-called tortoise formation in the Latin or the Roman among the Roman legions, and it was the most if I'm correct, it was the most defensive mechanism they could form. So when they were under pressure, they formed a testudo, and they all had their shields out, and they had their armor in. And I don't know quite. I'm getting this off Asterix, reading Asterix comics.
Okay, next ball in from Ngidi. This one's a fuller one, driven by Chandimal. He gets the inside edge through his legs there, down to square leg for a single.
Okay, so can I ask this question? Teams throughout the world are supposed to have replacements. But how can you replace Kagiso Rabada, who is right now one of the best bowlers in the world, and you don't have access to him? How can you change that? How can you just say there's a like for like and we're a team?
Last ball of that over outside the off stump, played out, not played, let go, gone through to the keeper. End of that over, Sri Lanka 139 for 3. This partnership's now 85 off 136 balls. And we have a comment on YouTube asking where the jingles. We're still trying to figure out a way to get the jingles back in. But I think for this test match, we might not be able to. We're still just trying to play around with software to make sure that we can get proper audio in. But for now, we're just doing without the Jingsons jingles. We've got a new bowler coming in. It is a Keshav Maharaj.
Again?
Yes, yes, again. Very early on, replacing Anuch Nokia. Quinton de Kock really giving all his bowlers an opportunity.
I feel like Quinny's burning through his options a lot quicker than he should be. I feel like he's throwing all his cards on the table all at once, and I'm concerned. And I don't know if it's because of Luto's poor start.
First ball from Maharaj played out to mid wicket, a 4-no run, 140 for 3.
See, the thing is, he's trying to cope with batsmen who are playing like, as I said, they're in an ODI. What does he do? What can he do except run for his
Maharaj in again, this one outside the off stump. Nice little line there on with the arm and played out to the offside, no run there.
Besides which, Quinton de Kock, bless his heart, is really not the world's most wise man. Let's put it that way.
Full ball in from Maharaj, played out to the onside. The fielder at mid off is on the boundary, so the Sri Lankans can take a single there, 141 for 3.
So what do you expect him to do? Seriously, he's no really or whatever. What do you expect him to do?
Next ball in, played back to the bowler for no run there. I think he's, as you say, Ravi, he's trying to find another way to get them out and try play on the aggression of the Sri Lankan batsman, as this one's played straight to the fielder at silly mid. He's at silly mid off for a dot ball there. Last ball of the over from Maharaj. This one played down the ground by Chandimal, who manages to get the single. That field is still on the boundary there. And that ends the over, 141 for 3. I think, Ravi, you made a point early on about Quinton de Kock and his captaincy.
Yeah.
I think he's a great cricketer. I think he's a thinking cricketer. And I do think he finds himself in a trap to try and follow the plan that was set in the changing room, rather than follow the plan that should be evolving as the game goes on. And that's what I know that in the limited overs format, he struggled. He used to just bowl by the mathematics of everything rather than what's actually happening.
Okay, we've got Mulder back. Muller, yes.
So we have the next bowler in. That will be Vian Mulder. Dave, do you want to just take us through ball by ball?
Sure, I'm actually only reaching the end of the 34th now, so
then I'll just
might be slightly delayed.
I'll just carry on there as well. The first ball from Mulder outside the off stump and let go by Dinesh Chandimal, who's on 29, 142 for 3. Dhananjay De Silva on 49 of 68. Really some really good shots, but batting at a very high tempo. Have this pair.
Yeah. Oh. The shots managed to prevent a 4.
And next ball in, Mulder in. This one is cut by Chandimal to the point boundary. Looks like Timber had a hand on it there to stop the ball from going all the way there. And they'll come through for the Sri Lankans take 3 runs there. So a single saved, 145 for 3. Shortish ball from Mulder and played out to the offside.
Yeah, it was short and wide, wasn't it? Mulder is usually better than that. The thing is that Mulder, who's supposed to be a fifth bowler, who's supposed to be the handyman, the all-rounder, he's being used as the primary bowler right now. Why?
Vian Mulder down the leg
cover?
side, no run there. I recall in early on in South Africa's times when when the frontline seamers weren't hitting their straps early on, Jacques Callis would come on and bowl like a frontline seamer and try and open up an end and take wickets for the South Africans. So with Sipamla not hitting his straps, and I'm surprised that he hasn't been given an opportunity to bowl post lunch. It's Mulder in for the third ball of his first over in the spell. This one just outside the off stump, let go by De Silva, who's on 49.
But Mulder's been bowled like a fourth bowler, not like a fifth bowler.
But I do think the plan was always that having because you would say that Vian Mulder's in his career, in this stage of his career at international level, more of a bowling all-rounder rather than a batting all-rounder. And so he has to also carry, I think, 10, 12 overs a day. Vian Mulder down, this one's shaping down the leg side, and De Silva looking to take a single off of that, but he's sent back by his partner, no run. I think that's where you need to kind of have a skill set to be able to bowl as a lot of balls and a lot of overs in the day, because also he's batting at 70. If he was batting in the top 6, I'd then say no, he shouldn't be bowling as a frontline seamer, as you would say, but he should be coming in to give you 7, 8, 9, possibly maximum 10 overs a day. This ball from Vian Mulder's wide outside the off stump and lashed on by De Silva down to the cover boundary for 4. That brings in his Dhananjaya De Silva to his 7th test to 50 and the Sri Lankan total to 150 for 3.
I think we need to give the Sri Lankan batsmen, these two, credit.
Absolutely.
That they haven't given up on scoring. That's the astonishing thing. They're just going for it at every opportunity. But these two have managed to make it stick.
Mulder in again. This one outside the off stump, no run there. End of that over. It is 150 for 3. Dave, we're seeing these two stroke makers on the Sri Lankan team who are playing their natural game, and it's seemingly suiting what's happening here at Centurion.
The value of experienced heads, I think, is all too often overlooked in the longer format of the game. These two have been, in the Sri Lankan setup for a long time. Dhananjaya with his 7th Test 50. Chandimal, we know, has been in and out of the squad, and came through with guys like Sangakkara, Jayawardene, and Angelo Matthews. And I think the learning and the knowledge transfer that takes place is completely invaluable. And I think that's why we've seen him stand up.
Keshav Maharaj in to Dinesh Chandimal, first ball of his over, and he played back out to the bowler. This partnership's now at 96. Next ball in from Keshav is a lot fuller, and his driving length from Chandimal, who just finds timber at extra cover, no run there.
And I think their experience, as you say, Dave, is important. They know and they don't give a shit. Let's be honest about the situation. They just know what they have to do.
Yes, but Ravi, the South Africans have been bowling bad balls, as the next ball from Maharaj is played back to the bowler. The previous ball before that we didn't cover was also a similar one to this one.
Yeah, they're just pushing him to the offside. Let's be honest with Keshav Maharaj. But my point is that they just hit astonishingly the way we always said Test cricketers should play. Punish the bad balls and let the good balls go.
And they're also rotating the strike. Next ball from Keshav is played out square this time to the offside. The fielder is a third man on the ring and has to come out to get that ball. So an easy single there taken by Chandimal. De Silva waiting for the last ball of Keshav's over. This one came in straighter along into the right-hander, who cut it very late and there is no run there, just a little bit of tense moments there from Dhananjaya De Silva. End of the 36th over, 151 for 3.
With the end of the over, I just want to quickly shout very loudly the praises of Keshav Maharaj. I know that we were seriously impressed by George Linder during the white ball series. Keshav Maharaj is in a league of his own when it comes to this level of the game, and I think it's so underrated to have a good left arm spinner that can just hold an end, even if his colleagues aren't doing their job.
Let's get through some tweets. So Vian Mulder bowls his first ball of the over, back of a length, played out to the offside, no run. Leah replying to the tweet about the Scootums, she replies with scooter, if memory serves. And then Pirate Batshaw gave us a visual aid. So if you go to Guerilla SA on Twitter, you'll see the aid. And he says I vaguely recall Mahela Jayawardene giving a forward defensive as his favorite shot in an early IPL. That might work too. Vian Mulder again drawing the batsman forward and just missing the outside edge of Dinesh Chandimal, who seemingly is continuing with this expansive game of his.
It's risk-free cricket.
Also, Quinton de Kock is quite clearly going for Mulder as his go-to bowler. I don't know what that is about. And it could be the making of Mulder as a cricketer. But
it could. And I think it's because he bowled so well before lunch that Quinton's going to him, because he attacked both edges of the bat in the morning session. Next ball in from Mulder is left outside the off stump by Chandimal this time, and it's a dot ball.
Mulder is incredibly skillful.
Is that Sri Lanka are 150 already? 3 wickets down, yes, granted. But and less than an hour after lunch, they're already 150. And he's relying on Mulder and Maharaj.
Next ball in.
Not to Pamela. Sorry.
Next ball in from Mulder, another one left outside the off stump. He's now seemingly just putting it full, just out that 4th and 5th stump line, that corridor, and wanting to draw the batsman forward. I just feel this over, he's been a little bit too wide and not necessarily straight enough to bring the batsman forward.
What do you make of this pitch?
We'll talk about the pitch just slightly after this one. Another one, Chandimal coming forward and not playing a shot to it, just letting it go through to Quinton. This pitch is I would say it's a typical Centurion pitch. I think they left a little bit of grass to give something to the bowlers and also try and have the bounce going into deep, possibly beginning of day 3, middle of day 3. It will become better it will become better to bat on. I just don't think the South Africans have hit the right lines and lengths to bowl on this wicket and necessarily bring in those edges. So end of the over, 151 for 3. Yes, Dave?
What do you think?
The age-old cliche of don't say anything before both teams have batted on it springs to mind. I think this pitch is going to show us flames if we go into it too arrogant. I think if everybody remembers South Africa's batting woes as far back as the previous Sri Lanka series, you'll know that slow down, not so fast.
The final 10 minutes of our session. As a team, and the first ball is bowled by Maharaj, played out to deep square leg for a single. The total goes to 152 for 3. We've got a tweet from Pirate Batshaw for Dave to help Dave out. This one played out to next ball from Maharaj, played back, leaning edge back to the bowler. a little bit much there, but nothing to write home about. Dot ball there.
Pirates
And
got
what does
something for
Spider
me.
Badshah say? What does Spider Badshah say?
Or next ball in from Keshav Maharaj, played out to the leg side. There and the Sri Lankans taking a little bit of turn there from Keshav into the right-handed De Silva, and he's getting through his overs very quickly. Is Keshav this one? De Silva coming down the wicket and Kesha and missing it entirely, and it just hitting De Silva on the back pad. They had it gone straight through, it probably would have been a stumping chance for the South Africans.
Yeah.
And nice little played off. The next ball is played out to the offside, and no run there. 153 for 3.
And that's the 100th run of the partnership.
Oh, yes. Yes, that is the 100-run partnership for these two batsmen, with this ball being played out to the offside. It's a shortish ball from Keshav, and the Sri Lankans will run for 2. Ngiti bringing it back with Temba, and De Silva adds 2 to his score, and the partnership goes up to 101. The score is 155 for 3. And looking very good for the Sri Lankans here, Dave.
Yeah, it's just too easy for them to rotate the strike, like Ravi's been lamenting. It's too easy to just dot 1, get 2 here, get 3 there, boundary here, boundary there. It's all too easy for them.
Well, yes and no. I mean, what's the point? We need to relog on or something. So I'm going to whatever. But the point is, for me, that it still looks like they want to hit 250 or 300 because they're playing an ODI.
Look, 300 gets them in the game.
Yes, I know. It gets them in test. Gets them into the test.
Vian Mulder. Yes, Vian Mulder bowling his first ball of the 9th over, just left outside onto the off, left by the batsman Chandimal to the bowler, no run.
And of course, we asked the question: why is Mulder being used so much?
Yes, he's got.
Mulder?
Yeah, the question is, what is something wrong with Luto Supamla? Next ball from Vian Mulder, cut very expertly by Chandimal. There was a fielder at gully or point there, and it passes the diving fielder at gully, and it goes through to the boundary for 4. Very risky shot, but the width was there to be hit.
It's a risky shot for a Test match player, isn't it? For an ODI or in a T20, you'd applaud him for playing that shot, but you wouldn't in a Test. But
Mulder in again. This one tighter on off stump, played out to all the offside, no run.
In a Test, you think that's stupid, but right now Sri Lanka are aiming for 300 max.
If they get 300, it's going to be a very formidable score, because I don't think South Africa have struggled to get to 300 in the past 2 years. So a first inning score of 300 brings Sri Lanka into the game.
Sri Lanka won the toss and chose to bat, so they presumably have a target in mind.
Mulder in. This one's a wide ball, very wide, and the Chandimal's timing is way off as he misses the ball entirely.
And doesn't it look like an ODI or a T20 ball, a delivery that was wide of the off stump and long?
Yes. So at the end of this over from Vian Mulder, we'll be handing over to Otto and Simon. I think Dave is going to be staying on. Next ball through. It is a dot ball let go by Chandimal to Quinton de Kock, who is the wicketkeeper.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how South Africa go about this. It looks like Keshav Maharaj is looking to kind of rush through his over and hopefully force an error. And the use of Vian Mulder, I think it's more to buy a wicket than it is to, actively search a wicket. I think if he gets lucky, like the previous shot we've seen in the over where he just kind of flashed at it, if he gets something to take the edge, that will be the game changer. And I think that's when you'll see the return of the frontline bowlers.
So last ball from the Vian Mulder over is a dot ball, but there is a shy at the stumps at the non-strikers and the bails were dislodged. And so the question is whether the batsman, that is Chandimal, was in his crease and his bat was down by the time the bails were lodged. And looking at the visuals, it looks as that is the case. And so we're expecting a not out. This gives us a quick chance to say goodbye to Ravi. Thank you very much. And to bring on Otto and Simon. I'll bring on Simon and then I'll let Ravi go. And then I'll bring Otto on and we'll just ask Otto to switch on his camera as I take my leave. And I'll see you. Moranti.
Good afternoon, Simon. Good afternoon, Otto. Welcome.
Afternoon, everybody. My headphones are looking a bit messy. We don't normally have to worry about these things. I just who's got the slowest feed so that we know who's going to be doing ball by ball. So I'm watching CSTV. I can pause it.
I think it might be me.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, if you can do ball by ball for a little bit, then I'll be able to just pause my feed so that we're all on the same sort of thing. But how's it been, guys? Have you had a good Christmas and all of those things?
Good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, no, it's been good. I went down to White River for a little bit, which my stepmother works at a school there, so Amy insisted that we had a net sometimes twice a day in the local net. And it's nice to be up and watching a bit of cricket.
Test cricket, most importantly.
Exactly. It's like a Boerewors roll after days and days and days of nothing but candy floss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm
I would have said it's
watching
caviar
as well here from sunny Pretoria, and quite muggy and damp after the rains we've had. You guys must just update me on the chat here if my feed is doing okay. If there's a problem, I'll just switch off my camera. First ball by Maharaj, defended, run.
So a current run rate of 4 now, gentlemen. It's a lot better than it was. I mean, it was 6.5 at one point during the first hour of play, but 4 is a lot better. So I've got the first ball in now, and that's just defended, no run.
Okay, so I'm almost an over ahead of you guys, I think.
That's Maharaj. That's all that one.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is pause it on the fourth ball of this over, and you guys will just tell me when
second
you get
ball in again, and he's just driven that back to Keshav. No run. Good stop there.
Yeah, my sense was that, I mean, watching it this morning, and I was sort of doing other things. I wasn't paying a hell of a close attention. But my sense really was that the Sri Lankans weren't doing anything.
Maharaj in for his third, and that's just slashed away behind backward point, and that'll race away to the boundary. 4 runs.
So, I mean, there was a real sense that the bowlers weren't bowling particularly well, and the Sri Lankans were just taking advantage of that sort of 1 or 2 bad balls that was coming down every over.
Yeah, lots of pressure release deliveries.
Especially from Luto.
Yeah, I was really disappointed by that. I think all of us were really, really looking forward to his debut. And to be honest, that's probably the worst figures someone has ever had for their first 5 overs in Test cricket. I can't, off the top of my head, think of someone who had a shakier start.
Chris TB will tell us, I'm sure. 4th ball now, and it's a dead ball. He's pulled out of that one. So nothing there.
On his debut as well, signalling that dead ball.
Correct. In again now, and he's defended that. Sorry, go on.
A sort of somewhat wishful thinking semi-appeal there from Elgar at slip, but no, it was a massive inside edge onto his pad, I think. Yeah, did you see that there was a capping ceremony for Adrian Holstock as well?
I did. Maharaj now for his first, and this one's inside out on the bounce to 50% a short cover, no run.
Yeah, Adrian is part of the Gauteng Umpires Union. He actually won Umpire of the Year this year, also Umpire of the Year for the Gauteng Union. So he's a local boy to us here in Joburg.
Maharaj to wrap up this over rather, and that's cut away through the offside. There is no one in the cover region to sweep for him there. That's 4 runs. End of his 7th. Sri Lanka 167 now for 3. It looks like we'll have a bit of a drink.
Yeah, real pressure release ball. That's last ball, so dragging it down a little bit, and just so easy to cut that away through to the boundary. And it's been the story of the whole morning, hasn't it?
Absolutely. I was just about to say exactly the same thing, Simon. That whenever we've been able, we being South Africa, of course, have been able to build some pressure, the release ball inevitably comes, and Sri Lanka will be happy with the session so far. Giving it to Sri Lanka all the way so far in this first hour after lunch. The South Africans looking a bit clueless in terms of plans to take wickets, but they face a tough challenge with these two batsmen. They look like they're here to stay for a while.
Yeah, we're losing you a little bit there, Otto, but we get the we get the gist. Even the wickets which have fallen today have been pretty soft wickets. That pull that looped up to Lungi and Gidi. I can't remember which of the Kusals it was who got that wrong. But it seemed like both teams had not played enough red ball crickets in the last year, didn't it?
Absolutely, and you look at how they've gone about it, and Ravi Nair lamenting the way that the Sri Lankans were almost, he considered it far too reckless for Test cricket, but the South Africans were kind of handing out presents. I know it's this. I think it's the second day of Christmas, first day of Christmas. Nevertheless, we are not their true love, and we shouldn't be giving them freebies.
Yeah, no, it was ordinary all round, and I think this partnership now has sort of re-established some Test match thought and effort into it. And I was actually listening to Hashim Amla and who was Jackie Dummy. Jackie Dummy, rather. And they were talking about batting together, and what it was like. Building big partnerships and the incredible importance of talking to each other all the time and recognizing the pressure moments and recognizing when you're getting finally on top, when you've worked your way through the pressure, you've seen off someone like Nordkeer and you're now able to start scoring a bit more freely. How those are the times you must really not lose your wickets. And I was quite surprised at them talking about how much they say those sort of things to each other in the middle. Just sort of reiterating, to keep concentrating, to keep focus, and to build the pressure back on the bowling side.
You almost think that it's a foregone conclusion, but it's so key, Otto, to just subtle reminders. Just keep your head.
Well, and I mean we see it often.
Pressure is definitely on South Africa at the moment.
Yeah,
and all over us like a rash.
Absolutely, and I remember just always assuming as a kid that just the sheer fact that you were playing not even international cricket, just for me first class cricket, I thought would have been amazing. That of course you would concentrate harder than you ever have in your life all the time.
Mulder Enege in to start his new over, and that's straight through to the wicketkeeper.
But of course, that's not the fact. That's not the case. And as with anything, you get used to what it is you do every day. And for these guys to maintain concentration, and often as a team in the dressing room, when you're chasing a low total, I think that's often when things go pear, is because the team loses its focus completely, and maybe chatting about where they're going to go tonight and that sort of thing. And suddenly there's a clatter of wickets, and guys are having to walk out not anywhere near the mine zone that they're supposed to be in.
Next one, just defended and squeezed out onto the onside, no run. I think Kevin Peterson said something to that effect, Simon, where he said, when things are going well, nobody questions it, and we just paper over any cracks that are there. But the moment things go pear-shaped, and they inevitably go pear-shaped very quickly, everybody's falling into the pitholes, into the chasms we have now just papered over.
Yeah. Of course, he was talking. I remember that line out of that series that they had on SuperSport a couple of months ago, isn't it?
Mulder now with a foolish one, and he's mistimed that drive, has Dinesh Chandimal no run.
What do you think? What do you think of Vian Mulder today? And
today, I think
he's been exceptional. He's been exceptional.
Otto, go for it, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's just keeping the line in length, keeping the batsman quiet, and he got his wickets with his first spell when Sri Lanka could take him on, and they paid the price for it.
Yeah, I mean he hasn't looked particularly threatening, but he has kept them quiet.
Passes the umpire now, and it's once again left alone outside the off stump, and he has a bit of a foul word for Chandimal as it goes through to de Kock.
I think the foul word might have been to himself. I think that was what's the seventh stump line, and I think he's sort of saying to himself that was a complete waste of a runner. It was always going to be left alone. I suppose you send one of those down every now and again in the vague hope someone's going to throw the willow at it and hold out at gully.
Yeah, I think it's more hopeful than harmful. This one again is in the similar vein of the previous one, just slightly shorter and slapped away by Chandimal down to Sipamla at the cover boundary.
Yeah, I'm sort of wondering what role Vian is going to play in the Proteas. I mean, the fact that when he is available, they select him back into the 11 very, very quickly. He's clearly someone that they want to build into a real asset, but he's just I don't know, sort of poor man's Jacques Kallis. And I know it's desperately unfair to describe.
Mulder to wrap up, and this one's fuller, and it's just a bat turning in the hand there of De Silva. No run to Maharaj, overbowled.
But would he make the team on the strength of his bowling or batting alone?
Yes, no.
No, that's a good question. I think that he's obviously getting a chance now because of Rabada's injury, or do you think that's the Pamela that's Rabada's place?
Yeah, the Pamela must have come in for
Rabada. Yeah.
We would love a nice solid all-rounder in the team again, even half a class in terms of ability. But he's done the job so far. I mean, 10 overs, 26 runs, 1 wicket, 3 maidens. That's a solid job with the ball.
And in fact, I mean, it is exactly the sort of job that Jacques Kallis would do in this situation, isn't it? I mean, he was certainly for the last 10 years of his career, he was very, very much a holding bowler.
A miser.
And
Maharaj
maybe he is doing his job well.
Starts his 8th over now, and it's a floated delivery on leg stump, and it's just flicked away to the deep square region as Lucius Pamela cleans it up. Vian Mulder, I think we've said this, is a bowling all-rounder. He's not a batting all-rounder like I think Jacques was. But he's got competition in guys like Dwayne Pretorius, Miguel Pretorius, those kind of guys. This one's back of length and just punched to Bavuma at mid-off, no run. So there is certainly, and has been since Jacques Kallis retired, a myriad of all-rounders that don't quite tick one or both boxes for us completely. I think they're going with Vian because he's young and we've got enough time to mold him into the player we want. This one just defended no run. Maharaj in again, fourth ball. Down the wicket comes De Silva. There's a big shot, but the umpire is not phased at all. Yeah. I think it's just because he's come down there.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting one because he came down the pitch. But of course, these days with DRS, you can review those. Adrian Holstock was completely correct not to give it. No umpire worth his salt is going to is going to give an LBW where the batsman is advanced down.
And I think Maria is telling them that now, as we can see, kind of just hangs out with the boys.
Well, they have reviewed. It was interesting to see Maria come down and chat to them. So he's well outside of his crease, but it hits him low down on that front pad. Is there a rule that if you're ahead of a certain amount ahead of the popping crease that it can't be given out LBW on DRS? I seem to remember there used to be.
It may change.
They did have that, they did
more than 2 meters, I think. Let's have a look.
It was like just one series.
Over 3 meters. There you go.
So there is actually a.
So it would have been out.
It would have been out. I mean, it looked great, but I think that Adrian Holsuk was completely right not to give it.
And if we're honest with ourselves, DRS is supposed to remove error. So if ball tracking says it would have been out, is that not supposed to be overturned?
No. And it comes back down to what I've always said about DRS, is that it's to... I'll let you take this ball.
Maharaj in again, and he's come down the wicket and slapped it over Miran, and Bongani Jele, who's the fourth umpire under the umbrella there, signaled 6.
Really, really good shot there, just getting to the pace the pitch of the ball, and really sort of pick-up shot that cleared that deep mid-on boundary with a fair degree of ease, actually.
Absolutely, it was a great shot.
To get back to the DRS, so my argument has always been that it was brought in to overturn absolute howlers after this ball.
Maharaj in again, and this is much fuller this time, but he's able to squeeze it past Timba Bavuma running around from a cover region, but Nokia at kind of a long off gets there. That's the end of Maharaj's 8th. Chandimal's 40 from 101. Dhananjaya De Silva 71 from 90. Sri Lanka 176 for 3.
And what you don't want...
The last 2 overs here by Maharaj has really hurt his figures. 8 off the previous one, I think, and the 6 off this one. And he's gone past... he's almost at 4 runs and over now. So if it weren't for these last 2 overs, his figures would have looked a lot better.
Yeah, for sure. Just to finish my DRS thought. So I'm firmly of the opinion that the decisions that wouldn't have been given out before DRS need to try and the DRS decision needs to sort of reflect that, and that's why we have umpires call on when it's clipping the bells and that sort of thing. And I think this 3 meter rule is again a very, very good example of that. That every umpire. When they're standing at club level, won't give that out because there's just too much can happen, in the distance that they've come down the pitch, and therefore I do think it was the right decision. What is interesting is that there was no marker there, sort of showing where the 3 meter mark was.
Mulder in again, and this one again left outside the off some run.
I remember seeing that in a match, that they had the ruler on the screen there on the pitch showing how far the batsman was forward when the ball hit the pad. But it seems to have disappeared. Maybe somebody on Twitter can enlighten us as to what happened to that rule.
There's a white paint mark on the outer edges, but Simon will know that's for danger zone rather than...
Yeah, that's just indicating the danger area. That's not the same as what we're looking at here.
Mulder in again for the 3rd ball. It's full, and he's just had to defend that, has Dhananjaya De Silva. A lot quicker with his scoring than his partner, who's only 40 from 101 deliveries.
Yeah, but
Chandimal struggled to get going as well.
And at a time when Nortje was bowling at 150 k's an hour, I think it was he's done well to see off the real danger men in the South African attack, and I think now is more than happy just to rotate the strike for De Silva, who's going along very nicely.
Mulder in again, and this one just nips away off the seam there. Quinn de Kock almost taking it in front of first slip, but it's a leave nevertheless, no run.
They've been getting quite a lot of bounce out of this pitch, haven't they?
Yeah, and they're getting movement off the seam still in the 43rd over. So the ball has been looked after well by by the South African bowlers. We only saw that 1-6, and we know that the outer field here at Centurion is very kind to the leather ball. So that seems to be still standing proudly.
This one is a lot straighter this time, and he just defends that on the back foot. No run. One ball to come.
So as captain, what do you do about Luther Sipamla now? Because I think you need to bring him back into the attack and hope that he can, having had a bit of a breather, he can be a little bit more reliable.
I think
I would have brought him on after that drinks break. Just to maybe get a batsman with his guard down a little bit.
I think when he's waiting for a wicket. Mulder in again for the last ball of his over. This is wide and cut away through the pointed region, and Sipamla does the fielding once again. Rassie van der Dussen picks up helmets like strongmen pick up buckets of concrete, and away they go.
And of course, the interesting thing is, if you were to bring Luto in now, I would suggest you probably bring him in for the spinner for Maharaj, rather than Mulder, because Mulder is bowling a very, very nice line and length and being quite tidy, whereas Maharaj has travelled a bit in the last couple of overs.
One from that over.
Yeah, so you want whoever's bowling on the other side of Sipamla to be keeping it very, very tight, in the hope that the guys are going to overcompensate and charge Luto a little bit, and then gift him a lucky wicket.
Is Rassie van der Dussen under any pressure? I know I'm kind of jumping ahead to the South African innings. I'm just looking at the test squad for this tour. It includes Reynard van Tonda and Sarel Ervia, who both have scored hundreds, and I think Sarel scored a double in the domestic 4-day competition. I mean, for me, Russ is the only one who's in under massive pressure, and probably Faf as well.
And Mockram.
Look, I mean, no one. They're not going to drop Faf. Faf has earned the right to decide when he quits Test cricket, and he'll play until he does, I think.
Maharaj start his 9th. It's a floated delivery, and there's just an inside-out drive to Bavuma, no run.
I hadn't really thought of Rassie being under particular pressure. I think he's sort of well on his way to cementing his place very, very completely in the team as a senior.
In the white ball format, maybe Maharaj in, and that's just defended by the Silver, no run.
Yeah, I do agree that you're being a little bit premature. Let's at least have one batting innings.
At least I admitted it. I mean, it's not like I'm, ignorant of that. De Silva now facing up for the third one. He passes Holdstock and defended again, nothing.
It's a bit of a tight over
here. It's looking better so far. Let's see if he can just keep it tidy.
Luto's doing some backstroke there, which means, or butterfly, I don't know how you want to look at it, but that one's defended, as it looks like he might actually get a ball here. I think they might give Vian a bit of a rest.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. If things go wrong for Luto in this third spell of his, then you can always swap him out for Indian here, but he needs to just find that consistency.
Maharaj in and defended with a large stride from De Silva. Nothing there.
He's shown glimpses of what he's capable of in the first two spells. It was just that every third or fourth ball is too loose and releases the pressure, and he was guilty of that more than anybody else this morning.
What sort of role does he play in his franchise as a bowler? Is he their sort of out and out strike bowler, or is he a more holding bowler like you would play here?
That one's smashed away to the boundary, and a good over is wasted with the last ball there as it races to the boundary for 4.
He's definitely a strike bowler. He usually opens the bowling, as he has done for South Africa and ODIs. I think he's had that chance, if I remember. But he's definitely a strike bowler, and I think maybe the nerves got the better of him. Replays of the ball going to the point boundary there.
Slightly different in the sense that at the line structure you've got strike bowlers like guys like Sisanda Magala and Malusi Siboto, and Eldred Hawken is another one that comes to mind. So I think because Luto doesn't quite know his place in the line setup, because he hasn't played much, if any, red ball cricket for his new franchise just yet. I couldn't say from a Lions perspective, but Warriors, he probably was. He was probably the main guy and had to take that responsibility on his own. There's not much else there when Heinrich Nortje is away.
Well, here he is.
Yeah.
Sapamla now steaming in, change of the bowling. He passes the umpire now, and that's full and driven, but just a looky-loo to see what's going on.
Yeah, I think slightly overpitched there as well, and he's not getting much lateral movement. So, a batsman who's in like Chandamal is going to be able to quite happily drive that into the covers all day.
Now, 2 slips and a gully in for Sapamla, mid-off and mid-on standing quite short, more or less in line with the bowler as he's running up. And then I've got an extra cover. That gully might be a backward point, I think. So he's got a little bit more cover on the boundaries now.
Sapamla in again, and this is a better line and a better length, and it's squeezed away down to the man sweeping on the offside, and Mulder collects just the single there.
Single, yeah, 182 for 3 in the 45th over. So far, so good for Sapamla. 2 down, 4 to go. Building is over okay-ish for now. Let's see if he can just get rid of those loose deliveries. He's dangerous at times.
Yeah, I mean, he desperately needs an over here go for sort of 2 or 3 runs maximum and get himself into the rhythm of this game.
At the very least, at the very worst, a wicket. Sapamla in again, and he's just tucked that off the pads. Has De Silva. It looks like they're going to scream through for 2, and a little bit of a fumble there from Nortje allows them to get home comfortably.
Right, so 3 runs off 3 balls. He's still going along at a run a ball even in this over. And I think he made a mistake bringing that ball back into the batsman. I think he needed to just keep it outside the off stump and get himself into this match.
Do you think he's trying to?
I think he needs to focus on getting his line and length outside off stump going, and then he can try some of his variations. But yes, he bowled a few beauties in his first 2 spells. He just needs to get that consistency. And
again, passing Mirror Erasmus. Oh, that one just was a slow ball and a bit of a wry smile there from the Sri Lankan batsman because he knows he's been bamboozled.
Yeah, no, that one quite short, and it looked like it didn't get up off the pitch that much, which could be bad news for the South African batsman.
It was a good ball, that slower ball bouncer. Very sort of white ball kind of a delivery to bowl. And I think we might be, that's what we might be seeing with him is just too much white ball cricket.
Luto in now, and this is full and just fended away by De Silva. No run there. 1 to come in Sapamla's 6. He's gone for 41 in 5.5. Oof.
But only 3 runs this over, so he's definitely there or thereabouts. And I think if he can get himself a dot here, then he's gonna feel he's started the spell on the front foot, which I think will be a huge relief to him and to his captain.
Absolutely.
Yes, the captain needs him after this ball.
Sapamla in again, and it's a much better line and length. He just jumps onto his toes, does De Silva, and sets off. It's a dangerous thing. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. Drop and run to Temba Bavuma. Please, somebody remind them of Dave Warner being run out. And it looks like there's a bit of an injury there.
No need for that. 185 for 3 after 45 overs. Let's keep them playing like that, trying to run singles to Bavuma. That's a good sign. And who is that? That's got a crack, looks like, on his leg. He's holding his
hip flex
thigh.
is giving him some trouble there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe overextended on that quick run there. Stretched something.
Who's down. I think you're right. Something went wrong in his hip there. And I don't know whether this is an existing injury that's now flared up. It happened. I mean, it's not like he's sort of been gradually flexing it over the course of his innings. This was something that seems to have gone while they took that quick silver, that quick singles rather. Quick silver.
Yeah, and he's getting some attention now. He's on his back and getting the leg lifted up. We see a replay here of the run that they took, and yeah, he's got the sniper in the stand, strikes as he takes the last few strides of that run and hopping along and grimacing. Yeah, so that I think you might be right, Simon. That could be some niggling thing that was bothering him before the game, because that's quite rare to see a cricket player pull up like that.
It's his hip flexor has gone just on the left groin there, or the left hip flexor. I think it's the hip flexor.
It looks that way, yeah.
And he's
holding his face. He looks like he's in pain, yeah.
Yeah, I think he realizes that this is something that's going to put him out for the rest of the series, which would be such a pity because he's batted really, really nicely, but he is absolutely distraught.
Yeah, he's writhing around on the ground, visibly in pain. So let's see what they say, if they can get him back up, but it doesn't look that way. I think he needs to get into the physio's table, and maybe get back out there if the team needs him in this innings. But he's certainly done his part. 79 runs, great partnership with Chandamal. 54 for 3, I think, was the score when he came.
Yeah, he's going to miss out on a test entry here. I think he was really, really looking good. And I don't know how much of his distress is the pain of the injury, how much of it is the disappointment. I mean, he knew the second it went, he knew that he was going to be coming off. You could just see everything about his body language and his expression.
That just looks like sheer pain.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to actually get a
stretcher.
Yeah, here it comes.
Yeah.
Oh, with full COVID as well. So there's someone who's coming looking like a
nurse, surgery nurse.
Yeah.
ready to operate on the patient.
Just amputate. Just cut it off.
Yeah, good to see the proper precautions being taken. We don't want this series to be COVID like the England one was, or Corona.
Not often you see a medic at a professional sporting event sporting a man bun. That's a new look.
And there's good reason for that.
Is it a man bun though?
Is it a man bun or is that a lady? I'm not sure.
No, that's a beard. Or it's a hairy woman. Hey? I don't know.
I wasn't sure whether there was a secondary mask going on. It is definitely a man bun. Yeah.
Yes, you're well spotted, Dave. The beard showing there behind the mask of the medic there, and the Silva is sitting on the medic cart, and he's going to be replaced by
Niroshan Dikwala, the man whose name is censored all over the world. Niroshan It's really unfortunate. He was desperately close to getting 100.
And looking great with it. And it went from pain-free to completely incapacitating in one stride. So I think he's torn something there. It was as he accelerated off. So he was on his back foot, almost jumping as he played a ball from Sapamla into the offside. Dropped it onto the pitch and then set off immediately. And I think it's in that setting off. So he's fine as he runs, and then it actually goes about halfway through the run. It goes.
Yeah, he's jammed his foot there in the strip, and that's grade 2 or grade 3 strain. That's maybe not grade 3, but that's a serious strain. I think, like you said, Simon, he might be out for the series, which is, like as we said, a shame.
I've just realised I got a message from Caesar laughing about the man bun. That we're not checking tweets. Or are we supposed to be checking tweets? I'm sure we are.
Yes,
I'll bring up and I apologize for everyone who's been tweeting us. Remember, you can tweet us at Guerilla SA. It's GUERILLA SA at Guerilla SA, and we'll keep you updated.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of Jay Grover on Facebook yesterday. It's quite something.
Wild. 31 average for Niroshan Dikwala, the Sri Lankan wicketkeeper, as we see him stride to the wicket it's going to be an interesting change in the dynamic of the game here, because you have a new man at the crease, but you don't have that adrenaline to get you going of when you've taken a wicket. So it's
and the new batsman will be Dikwela will be on strike as well, because De Silva was running to the non-strikers end at the end of that over as Maharaj comes into him now.
45 overs gone. First ball there, and it's just worked onto the onside. No run. And Dikwela has faced his first ball.
Now, left-handed batsman facing Maharaj, left hand over the wicket.
He comes in once again, and it's a ball that turns a little bit of a grip there for him. To see the change in the structures of the team or the dynamics of the team. Faf du Plessis has moved from first slip, where he traditionally would have been as captain, to close in, and Elgar is the man who's at first slip. This one defended once again.
Interesting that De Silva is really in a lot of discomfort. He's hobbling up the steps with two people either side of him.
Yeah, and
Maharaj, and this one just nips back in on the angle. No run.
Not a great ground to have a hip flexor injury either, because probably the longest flight of stairs in international cricket.
Probably Lord. Maharaj with a little bit more floated one, and they're not interested in that one.
Yeah, I think probably hit him just outside the line.
Yeah, but a good attacking delivery by Maharaj. He's attacking the stumps of the left-hander here.
Absolutely. One ball left in his 10th. He comes left arm over the stumps and just hit back at him. No run. So wonderful over there from Keshav Maharaj. But like I said, this game will change because of this injury.
He's reached the team box now. And as you said, Simon, the team boxes at Centurion Park are way up in the grandstand. On the west side of the grandstand, and you've got about a two and a half flights of stairs equivalent to climb up to those team boxes. Nice area to get some autographs if you're allowed in the ground. 185 for 3 after 46. So Pamela to continue.
It's interesting that having a tunnel is not a regular thing at all grounds.
Pamela with a ball that's far too full, and he's been driven out into the covers. Wonderful fielding by Dean Elgar, but
So I mean, we used to, as kids, we all used to wait at the Wanderers walkway to try and get guys to sign stuff. And then who hit who again? Was it Merv Hughes hit someone with a bat or something like that?
I think so.
Yeah, and so they created the tunnel for the Wanderers. Now, you would have thought that would have resulted in tunnels being put in all over the place, but at SuperSport they've still got the very open walkway, and you can literally lean right over and pat the guys on the shoulder as they walk off at SuperSport, can't you?
Yeah, they usually just line. Yeah, they usually just line those steps with a bunch of security guards at Centurion Park. So good luck getting your shots in there.
A little more strict.
And slight hold up here. Sapamla at the top of his mark. They took a single off the first.
Good ball.
Oh,
and again, as he comes through to Dikwela, and he squares him up, and that one's beat him wonderfully there, like a delicious steak, medium rare. Sorry to any vegetarian. Maybe freshly cut grass is the equivalent.
Yeah, it was interesting to see by the way. Yes, and it was interesting to see in Gidi and Sapamla and Nortje going around the wicket to the left-handed openers. Let's see if he's going to continue with this angle of attack to the left-handed Dikwela as he's coming over the wicket. That one was definitely more in line with what the captain would want, with 2 slips and a gully there.
He's looking a much better bowler to the left-hander, I must tell you.
Oh yes,
absolutely. And to the left-hander, he's bowling a much more attacking line than he was to the right-handers.
I wonder I wonder what was the thinking behind the around the wicket line to the openers, because it looked like the seamers were trying to get movement, attacking the stump line and then getting the ball to straighten, which didn't happen often. But I like this a lot better for Sapala coming over the wicket and across the left-hander.
Guerilla now facing up, and that one's just defended, no run.
I think it also helps that he's bowling to a new batsman now as well. But he just looks a completely different bowler this over. Bowling nicely at 135 k's an hour. Yeah, he's angling it across the left-hander. He's had 2 go past the shoulder of the bat that could so easily have got a feather. And,
absolutely,
and I think there must be a degree of relief in that slip cordon as well, that their youngster, their debutant, is looking like he's probably finding his feet.
Yeah, so a bit of luck for South Africa with De Silva's injury. Let's see if they can exploit that now.
Final 2 deliveries of the over. This one's short and left alone, no run.
I stand corrected, but I think because it's an internal injury, he's got to be. He can't come straight back out if suddenly the
wicket falls.
A wicket falls and they've magic sprayed him or something. I mean, look, there's no ways he's coming straight back in.
No, so I don't know if he'll bet.
I think that. Unfortunately, I think that's him for the series.
I just realized that you're wearing the LMS One World shirt, Simon.
Yeah,
so Palmer in again and just knocked onto the onside for 1.
It's actually a real bonus because I've got 8 of them. And they're really, really comfortable.
They
are.
So I basically I've got 2 or 3 that are in rotation in my cupboard, and I wear them quite often. The prize, where is it? 1WSR branding as well.
There you go.
I can put my fist over when we.
Hunting.
Yeah, missing the LMS sorely.
Yeah, no, so am I. The only cricket I'm getting to do it all at the moment is umpiring, and even then, that's been few and far between at the moment. Apparently, there's a very busy start to 2021 from a Gauteng cricket point of view, and there's a big cricket week down at Lenasia, which is going to require a lot of umpires.
The LPL, yeah.
And a full is that what it's called? What the
Lenasia Premier League? Yeah.
Okay, very cool. So hopefully, Amy and I will be going and getting being able to go and stand there, or at the very least, we should be getting some gigs at the in the club games up here, because there's a full club game fixture in that first weekend as well.
Absolutely, and start of the new over. It looks like Anrich Nortje is going to come right on around to Guerilla, who just defends this no run.
187 Excuse me?
Your fire has gone out. I'm very worried about it. You had a fire in the back.
The rack of lamb ribs has gone on to the vertical position, South American style. So we dispersed the coals, and we got some flames licking at the bony side.
Oh, excellent. So there is thinking going on.
Nortje in again, and this one's full and driven, but well stopped there by
control.
So Simon, what I'm hearing is that lunch is going to be at Otto.
I think we're going to have to go back to the situation where we all gather at someone's house. Although I mean, it's worked surprisingly well to have these remote commentaries, and I suspect this is probably how we'll do it for the foreseeable future, even regardless of COVID.
Yeah, it certainly gives us a lot more
options. Again, steaming in, and that's a fiery bouncer. Good take, Quentin de Kock.
I mean, to have a guy like Ravi Nair able to just come in and be a part of the team is absolutely terrific. I'm certainly very open to this being the way we do things in future.
Long time listener, first time caller.
We did use him once before. I'm trying to remember. It was one of those games where we were short of guys.
Yeah, and via Skype, I think.
Yeah. which was interesting. I mean, it worked well. I mean, he's a good commentator, but it's not. It was the very first time we tried it, and it wasn't ideal. These days now, we're also sorted with Zoom and equivalents that it works well.
Absolutely. This one just pushed at Lutus Apamlo, fumbles it, and they're able to get through for a single 42 for Chandimal as he is going to face the next one.
Some tweets maybe there, Simon? We've been really bad with the tweets today.
Yeah, not a hell of a lot's happened on the tweets. Someone had an argument with Mpho about... Mpho said, interesting to know why Sapamla hasn't bowled since lunch. QDK opted for Keshav instead of Sapamla. But we then sort of discussed how, they probably needed to get control of the game again, I think, which they then did, and then they brought Lutus Sapamla back.
Oh my! It missed everything.
Oh no! How did that miss? Nortje, very disappointed there. That shot played down into the ground by Chandimal and just bouncing past the wickets or over them. Not really sure exactly what happened with the front on view. Let's see the replay. Almost a copy of the wicket, the played on wicket, just missing the off stump as the ball goes into the ground and just almost shaves the off stump of Dinesh Chandimal as it was coming down. No, it was quite a fair bit away from the wickets in the end.
This one's just defended, no run in. Oh, here's 11. He's gone for 43 with just the one wicket, and it is 188 for 3.
So the two men
is on 42. Guerilla is on 2.
There we go. You guys are ahead of me there. So it's been a quieter session. This second session, 3.7 runs per over. Most of that, to be honest, is because of the injury to De Silva. Him going off, they really haven't scored very much since then, and that's been enough to just press that run rate below the 4 mark, because it was at about 4.4 at one stage, even in this session. So 86 runs off the 23 overs since lunch. And what time do we take tea? Is it half past
3 or so?
Around 3 o'clock, so that's in about 35 minutes.
Running in Sapamla drives, and that beats the man between third slip and Gully's right hand, and it will go for 4.
15 minutes.
We don't mind those runs. That was a good delivery. That was an edge there, definite edge by Guerilla that just found the gap between third slip and Gully.
Yeah, it was could very, very easily have flown to hand there, but Lutus Apamla is rushing straight back into this game now. You really get a sense that he had a very, very nervy start. It didn't go well, but bowling particularly to the left-handed Guerilla, I think he's going to be on the money here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's looking good, much better for Sapamla. Happy for him. 2 slips and a Gully, so that wasn't.
He's in again, and this is one that squares up Guerilla. It looks uncomfortable. There's applause from his skipper with the mitts on his paws behind him. Mpho told us that 22-3 will be time for tea, and two lumps for me, please, and milk.
Yeah, those days of the ruby teas. That's we definitely miss those. We need to find a way of getting that organized. Maybe I need to post croissants to all of you before the start of the match.
Before the start of day's play.
Some cold meat and some pesto, yes, please.
Sapamla in now to hit the halfway mark of this over. It's a short one. It squares up Guerilla, and he just has Quinton de Kock surprised there as came out a little bit quicker than he was expecting.
It's interesting. I had you and I sort of timed properly on the feed, and you at some point have managed to drift further back in time than I was. I obviously buffered for a bit at some point, so I've been a ball ahead again.
Oh dear.
Chandimal is there on 42, Guerilla on 6, mostly as a result of a rather streaky 4 that went through the slip cordon. Sapamla, who started off very, very expensive, his first 3 overs went in excess of 9 runs and over, has managed to bring it back. So he's now 0 for 48 halfway.
Sapamla with another bouncer, and Guerilla sways like a wave on the shore on the run.
On the beach where we're not allowed to go. 192 for 3. Yeah, no, that's. I don't mind that streaky 4 through the slips for De Guerilla at all. That's definitely not the way Sipamla conceded all his other runs. He was a bit loose, as we've mentioned a few times. So this is great stuff from Sipamla, showing his class and showing us why he got picked and why he was given the new ball.
Sipamla in now, and this one squares up De Guerilla again, and that ball just goes on the bounce to Aiden Markram, who's lurking in the gully. And Simon, there was
from Sipamla making the batsman play. I like this.
There was a question of jingles earlier, but it sounds like you've got jingles going there in the background, or somebody else has got jingles.
It's the ice cream salesman driving past my house on his bicycle.
So just rob him of his bell, and then we'll have our prescribed jingles.
Yeah, the jingle's a bit of a problem because actually our computer is across at Paul's house. If you want to just take us through this, Paul, so I can get the timing right.
No, not a problem. Lutus Sipamla now wrapping up his 8th over. He passes the umpire now and just straight through the keeper with the bouncer. End of the over.
Yeah, so the jingle's been a bit of a problem. The computer that had all the jingles on it died. And so it's at the intensive care unit to get its innards or its data sort of recovered. But of course, in the week of Christmas, I wasn't going to get it returned to me anytime soon. And even then, I need to probably we'll organize the jingles by the first week of the new year. We'll make sure.
Oh, and Sipamla bowled a no ball there. It looks like.
Well, I think this must have been called by the third umpire.
TV man.
Yeah,
the TV man.
Yeah, so for the second time, we're getting quite a late call on the no ball.
Come on.
And everybody to go back to where they were, and he gets to finish his over a second time.
1 run to his 50, though.
Almost, yeah. We've got to play. Almost got to play the 50-run jingle. Sipamla in, and this one forces De Guerilla to duck out the way, and everybody takes a quick jog because they know they're slightly behind with over 8.
I think that was
3 for 3.
an unfortunate no ball. I think it was marginal at best, and probably not worth the third umpire calling them back for it. To be honest.
Yeah, I agree with you, Simon. There was probably one blade of grass touching the back of his foot behind the line. But it didn't cost him too many, just one extra there, and he's conceded 49 now, as you pointed out, 193 for 3 after 49. Chandimal on 42. He's going to face the next delivery, and De Guerilla is still on 6 of 22 balls. 106 deliveries for Chandimal's 42. He's been sort of the anchor, you could say, along with De Silva, rescued Sri Lanka from a possible horrible situation, 54 for 3 when they got together. Still 3 wickets down. De Silva injured, retired, hurt, and let's go.
Norkian again, 3 slips and just punched at Keshav Maharaj, who's at a close-ish cover region and no run. 148 kilometers an hour. Oof.
Now, Chandimal hasn't enjoyed facing Norkia at all. So good call by Quinton de Kock or whoever is making the decisions. We were speculating about who was actually in charge of the on-field decisions. But Norkia and Chandimal, great contest here, and Norkia definitely getting the better of him.
This one is just squeezed away. They're a lot tighter than he would have liked for a cut shot, but it's racing to the boundary, and Temba Bavuma is having to do a lot of work. He brings it in and gets it back to the bowler's end for just, I think that was two
runs.
Chandimal back on strike, yeah.
Caesar messages us again, and a reminder that you can tweet us at Guerilla SA. That's GUERILLASA, Guerilla SA. And saying, did we say that the TV umpire called the no ball? Yes, that's exactly what happened at the end of Sipamla's over. Mm-hmm. The rule is now that it's the third umpire's duty to watch for no balls. I'd be interested to know how it works. Does he just literally have that feed on a screen that he watches in real time, or does he get a freeze frame every single ball? In fact, that one was so close. He must have done it off a freeze frame.
Nokia in again, and this one's tucked away off the hips of Chandimal, and collection for Vian Mulder as signal these leg buys from Adrian Holt. 150 Ks.
AB Muller is recruiting for the Guerilla SA audience. Daniel Gallen had tweeted and said, "Not at all suggesting the Supersport commentators remain absolutely neutral. I love a bit of partisanship from those on the mic, but I'm struggling with the constant use of we and us." Which AB replied, "Dan, maybe give the Guerilla SA's comms a go. We try not to use the terms we and us, and we have slightly more fun on the mic."
Absolutely. So Nokia coming round now to the left-handed Dikwele Stimi, and he's bowling very quickly, and he comes in again, and this is just fended off by Dikwele like an unwanted advance from a gentleman caller. Two to come, yes, two to come indeed.
Yep, 196 for 3. Nokia is now around the wicket again to the left-hander. He's probably looking to beat the left-hander for pace, get another play on. It was Nokia that got the batsman playing onto the wicket, or was that Ngidi? I can't remember.
That was Ngidi.
Yeah.
Ngidi. Okay, so that seems to be the tactic here. Attack the stumps, force the batsman to play.
Nokia in again, and that's a feisty bouncer. Good take by Quinton de Kock. He had to leap quite high into the air. So fiery bouncer there, and that's one for the over from Adrian Holdstock.
I find Anrich Nokia a curious prospect because, I mean, here's a guy who's bowling at 150 Ks an hour, and yet with that, he doesn't look like he troubles the batsman that much at Test match level. When you think of how difficult someone like Dale Steyn looks to face, even though he's sometimes bowling 10 kilometers an hour slower than Nokia is.
Nokia in and just defended on the back foot by Dikwele. One to come.
Yeah, I think Dale's ability to swing the ball is probably the difference between the two. Nokia doesn't get a lot of movement through the air often, and he's only been able to extract some movement off the pitch, which has disappeared now, it seems. With some of the blows that were struck, the ball seems to have lost its seam. We saw some movement off the pitch from Sapamla in his 2 spells, and from all the bowlers really. And
Nokia in again and just defended. Again, yeah. No run. End of the 12th, 197 for 3. Chandimal 44 from 109. Dikwele 6 from 25, and we are 6 minutes away from lunch. Tea, rather.
Tea. I mean, just having a look at Anrich Nokia's stats. So his first class average is 26, which is decent, but not. I would expect someone bowling as fast as he does to be maybe getting that average 3 or 4 runs lower than that.
Just a correction. I think we said in the first session that South Africa won the toss. Just a correction. No. It was in fact Sri Lanka who won the toss and chose to bat. So
yeah, very definitely.
Apologies for that.
Okay. And I mean, yes. Nokia's test average is 35, and what's probably even slightly more disturbing is that his economy rate in tests is 3.8, which is very, very high.
Sapamla with the first ball of his new over, and it's just spat up there like a cobra, but nothing comes from it, and they get through for a single. Yeah, I think Chandimal made that look a lot worse than it was. Maybe I'm just I just made an average
single. He let go of the bat with his bottom hand as
Let's
the ball struck the shoulder of his bat.
He definitely acted that out a bit.
Made an average ball look great.
Yeah.
It's almost like Marnus Labuschagne shouting no run when he leaves a ball.
What's going on with Marnus suddenly leaving it like
driven square off the front foot by Dikwele, but there's a man in Nokia to do the cleanup job. I don't know. It's almost farcical in nature.
I was looking at
199 for 3.
I was looking at Marnus batting this morning with Cameron Green. Marnus is obviously a hell of a lot taller than I realized because he came up to Green's nose. So I mean, he's over 6 foot. Is Marnus? I always think of him as quite a short little guy.
So let's see
Cameron
now.
Green,
They've
of
got
course, is an absolute monster.
Chandimal on strike, 2 slips, Gully.
As Sipamla passes Maria Rasmus now, he tucks that off his knees, does Chandimal, and once again Nokia, the man, cleaning up.
So we're just shy of tea. We'll probably might be able to get another. Yeah, it depends on how much chasing they have to do. That does bring the 200 up. The 200 has come up in 50.3 overs, so bang on 4 runs and over, just shy for 3. But they've also lost the additional pseudo wicket of Dhananjaya De Silva, who's retired hurt on 79. It looks like he's done his hip flexor, which was a real pity. But the 2 bats at the crease, Dinesh Chandimal, he's on 46, and Nirishan Dikwela on 11.
Sipamla into Dikwela again, and he's just danced at that and fended it off. No run. Mingi Ngiri's finally got a hat way past the halfway mark in the day.
What was he wearing before?
He wasn't.
He wasn't wearing any head covering, so we were admiring his courage to take on the African sun there in Centurion. But it's now almost partly cloudy rather than sunny, and he's wearing a hat. So there you go. Some information there for you.
Sipamla with 2 left in his over, and this one's come off the bat, and it's raced away to the fine leg boundary. 4 runs.
Yeah, it was a poor ball by Lucha Sipamla, just in on Dikwela's thigh pad, and easiest shot in the world. Just throw your bat across your knee at it, and it's flicked off the edge of the bat and ran away down for 4. He's been bowling such a nice line to the left-hander, and then the couple of times this over has just been far too straight to him, and been punished as a result.
Yeah, no, he's back to his first session habits now. Let's see what he can do with his final delivery of his over.
Last one.
26 fours already.
Dikwela is in again, and this one's driven straight, but not quite got the positioning right. And Ngiri collects. End of Sipamla's 10. He's gone for 56. Sri Lanka 204 for 3, and we'll get one more over before.
Looks like they're going to sneak another one in. We're at 14:39 at the moment. During the tea break, we are going to. I spoke to Colin Bryden this morning about the passing of Robin Jackman, who died yesterday afternoon. He's been ill for quite a while, I think. But Colin was an old friend of Jack's, and in fact, ghost wrote his autobiography. So it was a nice little chat with Colin Bryden about one of the doyens of South African commentary. So that'll take about 10 minutes of the tea break, and then I'm sure we'll then go back to one of our archived games for the remaining 10 minutes. But please do stay tuned for that. Just a small way that we can say goodbye to one of our colleagues.
Nokia in to Chandimal, and he just fends away at that no run. It's
played off the under edge into the ground. Yeah,
the voice,
you could probably say he's the voice of South African cricket. Yeah, no, I was listening to replays that they showed of some of the previous tests and hearing his voice again. No, he will be missed. And condolences to his friends and family.
He will indeed. This has been very much Sri Lanka's session, I think, but for the injury to De Silva, which is certainly not Sri Lanka's fault at all.
Straight to one this time and full and flicked away down to the fine leg region, and Ngiti's fumbled it, and they've come through for 2.
Lungi Ngiti's ground fielding has been very ordinary today.
Yeah, there's been a few misfields from a couple of the guys that is quite uncharacteristic, but that's probably to be expected with this long layoff. The guys probably haven't had a lot of time in the field at all. Very difficult for the players to even keep fit during lockdown, and then once the restrictions got lifted, still not being able to practice or play as they usually would.
Defends on the front foot does Chandimal. No run there.
the Sri Lankan batsmen, especially Chandimal and Silva, don't look at all like they've been out of cricket for such a long time. When was their last series? I'm wondering.
Sri Lanka's, I'm not sure. It was
They
just
also
about them.
played. Yeah.
When did they come here? Was that 2019? Was it January 2019 that all happened?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so it was.
I blocked it out my mind. So okay, well, bouncer, and it goes over the wicket keeper, and that's 4. That's the second time that's happened today. 4. Well, the first time it was wides. This time it's signaled as buys.
Buys, yeah. So it was a better bouncer, but just too much for Quinton to get hold of there. Even though he jumped as he usually does. 51.4 overs, 210 for 3, effectively for 4 with the Silva retired hurt. 22 extras so far in the match, which is not at all what we expect from South Africa. They're usually quite tidy in the field, but they haven't been.
Full and driven through the covers. Temba's got a chase on him here. He's going to collect it quite comfortably in the end, but that was hit just out of reach for the South African batsman. And that brings up Dinesh Chandimal's 50 runs. It's his 19th Test 50. Sri Lanka 212 for 3.
Really good innings. He took his time, really played himself in early on, and is now reaping the benefit. Dinesh Chandimal not out on 50. He's faced 117 balls. He's hit 4 fours. Enjoyed a very good partnership with Dharanjaya De Silva, who unfortunately is retired hurt on 79. And has managed to consolidate that with Niroshan Dekwela, this current partnership.
Last ball, and it's left alone, no run.
Not sure how much
they over in T.
And that is T. And they take one of the blue bales out of its groove, and they will be taking T now. And we will have that brief interview that I did with Colin Bryden. Talking about Robin Jackman. Hopefully Mpho has set that up for us.
Yep.
And coming up after the break, in 20 minutes or so, we'll be back. We can't actually see who it is who's going to be on. I think it's Mpho. I'm actually not sure. I won't lie. But yeah, thanks very much. It's nice to be behind the mic again, guys. And
thank you.
And we will see you guys on.
Thanks so much.
I need to go and check my WhatsApp because I'm only having this one window open. Mpho says we should give him 3 minutes. There we go. He's joined us now, and he'll take over from here.
Yes, I'll take over from here. Thank you very much, guys. As I try to sort out all the thing, I see why Simon doesn't like doing this job a lot. We're ready to go. I'm going to end the broadcast. I've gotten the Robin Jackman obituary ready, and then I'll just play one of our other podcasts for the final 10 minutes. We'll be back in 15 minutes time. So it should be pretty much all done for the next session. So thank you very much, guys. See you soon.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. Stay well.
Cheers. Thanks.
Bye-bye.